Hey guys, it's Morgan coming to you from Highland Cycles, and we are rebuilding Daisy, our 2018 250 XCW. So we now have the motor back in the frame, swing arm is all greased up, shock's been rebuilt, it's all put back together, and we're going to go forward with that. But I noticed that we have a little leak down here in the countershaft area, so I was going to put a different countershaft sprocket on anyway to change the gearing up a little bit, but so I'll figure out to shoot a little video showing you guys how to change the countershaft seals on these newer two-stroke KTMs. Alright, so now that we got collar out, these new ones are pretty cool. They seem to last a lot longer than the old ones, but definitely want to inspect that, make sure it's okay. Now we got to get this seal out, and it's super dirty. We're going to get it all cleaned up before we go back together. But I like this kind of seal puller. You know, it's adjustable, all that. I'll put a link in the description for that. Come in here, pop that out. Now, one of the other keys a lot of guys don't notice if they're doing this by themselves is there's an O-ring back in here, and that O-ring honestly causes more problems than the seals usually. They get flat over time, so we're going to replace everything. So we take some brake cleaner, and I got some comments on another video about using brake cleaner on these bearings because it'll dry them out, and yeah, it would. And will, but we're gonna, this whole thing's full of transmission oil and there's gonna be oil right back on there, so I'm not all that worried about it. There we go. I'm using an All Balls Racing countershaft seal kit. They're inexpensive. I haven't really had too many problems. I've had other problems with All Balls, but really on these I've not had any issues. They seem to up their game. They've actually got a metal seal and all the good stuff. So I think I really just haven't had any problems with it. So I'll take our O-ring, put it on first. Put it up against there. Now, got to get this seal in here. There's lots of ways to do this, but the way I like is, first of all, this chain guide is kind of a pain in the butt, but you can tuck back up in there. There we go. What you want to do is kind of line it up, and you want to be careful not to get it cocked because it's metal. If you get it started cocked, it will bend and not be good. So you want to kind of, and you can just push on it with your hands and kind of get it started. Then what we're going to do is grab a socket that's the right size. So come in here, and you can, it's okay if you're not quite on this edge, and it's a 32. Take a little bitty hammer, and we don't want to go crazy. And if you see how it just got cocked a little bit, that's okay. Just want to make sure we correct that early by just hitting down on the low part. So now it's going in nice and straight. And by using a little hammer, you're not gonna make big mistakes. And now I'm gonna get that in there, and we want to make it nice and flush all the way around. You can use your hand, kind of run your hand around there, so it's a little more, it's flush up here but not quite down here. So we want to get force just on that bottom part. There we go. That feels good. Maybe just a tiny bit more on this edge. There we go. So it's even all the way around. Then we're going to take this, we're going to clean it up really good. Then before we put it in there, take a little bit of grease, run that around there so that it doesn't want to catch on the seal. Take that, and we're just going to ease it in like that. So we're taking a 14 tooth back on this thing. We're going to gear this bike up a little bit this year. Kind of feel like first gear's a little low, so we're going to put a 14 tooth on there. When you're going back together with this style that has this cupped washer, I want to take a look at it, make sure it's still cupped, because that's important. And then you're going to come on here, because that cup holds that sprocket tight and pushes that collar up against that O-ring and keeps this thing from leaking. So the other thing is, you can see the residue of the old Loctite in there. That's fine, you can leave that in there, but we're going to put some new blue Loctite on there. There we go, blue Loctite. Start her in there. So you got to be careful as you're going on. There's a little collar, like a little lip that this needs to fit onto, and it's okay if it's not on there for a little bit, but one way to check to make sure that that thing is cupped enough is once it's tightened down, grab it, and if that moves at all, then it's no good. You need to get a new one. But that one's nice and tight, so I'm happy with that. Sweet. That's an easy one, guys. Probably already know that, but if you don't, I hope that helps you out. If you got friends that are struggling with that, share this video with them. That'd be great. Give us a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe, because we're rebuilding this thing all the way from the ground up. It's going to be in a playlist called, I think we're going to call the playlist Rebuilding Daisy. So check that playlist out for this whole process, man. I mean, like I said, from the frame up, completely going through this thing tip to tail. So thanks, guys. Get out, spread the gospel of two wheels, and make sure you find some time to ride your dirt bikes.